Welcome. Oh, Groot's upside down now. Groot.
Oh, yeah. I guess I'll show that.
I am feet.
Save it for the real one.
Yeah.
Save it for the real one.
Welcome to Burn
This
After
has quite a better
Watching.
fan base. Guys, this week we're watching the...
We watched it alright. You didn't watch it yet?
No, we're watching it right now. It's a live reaction.
Yeah. First live view ever.
It's like a
Look at
riff.
that.
It's like a riff track.
Oh, did you see that? Guys, we should do that. Just like, but don't tell people what it's for.
What it was
sync it
actually
up.
happening.
Sync
Figure
up
it
the
out,
movie.
yeah.
Figure it out. That could be fun. In the comments, get in the comments if you want that. But we watched Hardcore Henry, and this is not gay porno like I was hoping. It's actually a movie.
It's not a straight porno. It's not any kind of porno.
I mean, it's like a murder porn, like random murder.
Yeah, and there's definitely like sexual elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, this is gonna go somewhere. I bet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the premise of this movie, like, it's a first-person shooter made into a movie, basically. Like,
There's a movie filmed entirely in a first-person shooter form.
Yeah. So it starts off with these like really intense kids, and some of them are like bullying another kid or something. But then he also like
They're bullying the
throws
screen. They're
a
bullying me.
robot. Yeah. Right, because it's first person, correct. Prost.
They're bullying me.
And then the robot's broken.
the battle.
And then we have this intro with... The movie starts off strong. This movie had great music. Like, I right away was like, you know what? I really like the music in this movie. I appreciate this. But it starts off with an intro of just people getting fucking stabbed and shot. Like, just, like, super violent. They're just, like, setting you up. They're like, just so you know, this is what the
Like,
movie's
this
going
is
to be
the
like.
beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
It does not get slower.
So it's just like people getting fucking like smacked in the head with a baseball bat, and just it's all slow
Blood flying out
motion.
of
Yeah, like it's really like teeth flying, blood spurting. It's very intense. It's intense. You're like, okay, all right, that's
They're trying to get you, like-
sure.
Like, ready for the movie.
So I wrote this. I said, wrote what the fuck? Okay, this is violent. I said, but I like the music so far. And then my mom would hate this because my mom is like so against the older she's gotten. She's just like, no blood and gore, and I'm like, she would die.
Jamie would have not liked this because of the camera, and like off the bat, if that's like one minus I'm gonna give this movie is that first person camera. Like I was like, going to be sick, going to.
Did you feel that way, honey?
No. But it was intense.
I had to pause it. I had to like pause and like walk away and like get my stomach back in the right place. And then
Really, it's funny to me like how some people get bothered by that and some don't. Like the first time I watched Cloverfield, my ex like literally got physically sick. Yeah, Sea Loverfield. Yeah, but like physically got sick. He's like, I just can't watch this because it's someone holding a camera the whole time. Like same thing, and but it doesn't bother me. So I was. I mean,
normally movies don't. You know, I do get car sick sometimes, like when I'm looking at something in the car's moving.
Yeah.
But movies don't normally do that to me. But this was like, okay, I'm just take a little break in the middle.
So, but after the intro, he wakes up in a lab, or you wake up in a lab.
Don't forget, we do meet a very important character played by Tim Roth, who's like his dad.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, "You little pussy." Yeah.
And you're like, oh, his dad's a jerk. This is gonna pay off.
You know, something's gonna happen with this.
Yeah. Kind of.
They got the famous actor Timothy Roth to be into this.
Yeah.
Something will come
in
out
one
of this.
scene, right?
My paycheck, thank you. See you
By the
later.
way, I didn't see Tim Roth in the opening credits. I did see Sharlto Copli now.
I don't think he's in the opening credits. He's right at the end. I think it's like and Timothy Roth. Or Tim Roth. I think it's called Tim Roth.
But yes, so then he wakes up in a lab, and there's like, you know, medical beeping going on and stuff, and she's, what's his name? Henry, duh. That's the name of the movie.
I think
Henry.
his name is Jack.
Henry. And she's like, Henry. And of course he opens his eyes, and she's a sexy lady scientist wearing heels and skirts and makeup, and her hair's all done up. Like, she gets real dialed up to work in the lab.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, but for a good reason. Like, she's
She's taking care of.
And she, right
husband.
off the bat, it definitely intimates that they've had an intimate relationship before, like that they must know each other, and is like just super horny for you, like for him or for whatever.
I mean, if you gotta wake up,
Henry,
for me.
if you gotta wake up from traumatic injury, somebody being super horny for you, I guess, would be like at least a comfort. You know?
I mean, I love how she's like, I know you're confused, but she's like, I know you're confused, and it's like, okay, whoa, like, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it could be months. Maybe she hasn't got the D in months. You know.
Well,
She's like, better? Is everything better? Okay.
She's basically unplugging him. She
And
said
fixing
hello.
him.
She said hello, Henry, and I went, hello, nurse. But I know she's a doctor. I just wanted to make the joke.
I mean, was she a doctor?
So yeah, then they bring him over to like the linguistics guy, and he's the linguistic specialist, and he throws out some joke voices like Elvis and
Robbie is a tool. That's Robbie's the other guy.
yeah, Robbie.
Yeah, and what's her name? She's played by Haley Benoit or Benot.
Oh, what is her name?
Her name's Estelle.
Oh, Estelle. There
Estelle,
you go. Yeah.
Not Estelle Getty. We do get to see a cool scene where they put a fake leg on him and a fake arm.
The arm, and you see like skin grow over the arm, and is like first it's just a cool robot. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a cool robot arm the whole time.
Yeah.
But then skin grows over. He's got a real arm.
But they're like, that's a little bit too much budget. We'll just do this part.
Yeah.
Like, your arm's fine.
That's the only thing they spend.
Yeah. No, that's not true.
That's not
Oh,
It's
they weld it too. There's a little welding. I'm like, that would really
The
hurt.
legs spinning around. I remember that, but it's like twisting onto that.
I put welder no selling. Like he's just like, well, that's fine. Just weld my flesh to this.
I mean,
robot
it's
arm.
definitely supposed to be like, it's like a video game. It's really like if someone just played a video game all the way through, like just one shot.
It was like a Bioshock
yeah.
scene. Almost like how weird it was.
So, but he's about to get a voice.
Oh, guys, but just remember, she's a memory expert / robotistician.
Did she really say that?
No, this is just. She says she's a memory expert, but she's also doing this robotic stuff. So that's obviously
I know
her fucking memory.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, dual degrees. I love it.
Yeah.
Super smart. I like it.
So
Empowered women. I like that.
So yeah, he's I guess so.
Female empowerment, okay?
Yeah, that's what the movie's about.
Katie, you're not for female
You're
empowerment.
anti-female empowerment.
I can't believe that.
We heard this here first.
So he's about to get his voice. They're like she's like, just give him his own voice, and it's intimated too that he like was a soldier that they like were able to bring back to life or able to save, and
Maybe
now
a no-limit soldier. Even.
So yeah, so he's about to get his voice, and oh no, security breach.
Yeah, they just blow up the wall.
Also, like the voices could change instantly, and they could just be like, "Okay, well, it's done."
No.
But then I realized I'm the voice because I'm the star of this movie.
Did anyone else start making their own dialogue up?
Oh yeah, responding back.
Sexy lady,
Yeah.
what we're doing?
It was mostly telling Sharlto Copli to fuck.
Hi, Jimmy.
It's telling Jimmy to fuck up.
So yeah, she was also the worst, and that's kind of why.
No. She's not the worst. This fucking bad guy is the worst. Because he almost took me out of the movie every time he's in the goddamn movie.
The first time I saw him, I put all dead except wife, and then I put Jack really white.
That's why I was Jack super white.
Yeah.
Also, magic, I guess. He has like magic.
Telekinesis, man. Come on. Or psychokinesis.
Okay,
maybe,
sure.
He's
Why?
He's going. His nose is bleeding a little bit when he does too much.
Cool.
But I do love that he really played the villain. Actually, played it up like a video game. Like the way he like paced through the room and like moved was very
He
much
also was
like
never looking towards your face.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I was like, shit. They like this guy really studied video games to like get ready for this part.
He was,
like
his dialogue was just as robotic and
yep,
as if he were a video game.
exactly.
It's like playing any.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like she was very like she was not multifaceted. She was just like, I'm a sexy lady doctor. And then when the security breach happens, she's like screaming. She's like,
Then like Jack White is like Jack really White is like just feeling her up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay,
That's my wife.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass, motherfucker.
Supposedly.
So
Luckily they tried to escape, and she's still running with heels on.
Yeah,
running with
I
running
mean
with
that's
heels on.
because she's. I mean, if you have two doctorates, one being being a memory expert, and the other one being a robotistician,
Yeah.
then you can do that kind of shit, man. Like you just
Might as
have
well.
the ability.
So they run, and she gets them, like, they climb through some ducts or something.
Yep, ducks.
And then they literally
Not that
he goes up to a door that says exit on it. It says exit. So he opens it, like, oh, we should go out here. They're, like, in the middle of the fucking air. It's like a fucking ship, like a giant fucking carrier
don't go
ship.
that
Yeah.
way.
Like it says exit.
Oh, yeah.
What if like I was at my first day on the job? Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
I just want to
So of course, like he hangs out the door, and then she hangs out after him, but they get back in again, and then
also this seemingly giant facility, at least from what it looks like on the outside, has 2 escape pods that are one man only. I'm like that. I feel like that's not very.
No, but then I love how
that's an OSHA violation.
She's like, okay, you get in by yourself, and it's like it's clearly big enough for 2 people,
and just open anyway. So like, just get in.
So, but the stupidest part was she gets in and he just grabs her instead of literally belting her in with him. I was so pissed.
Well, he's got the daddy arm now. It's a cyber daddy arm.
No.
Yeah, I like the seatbelt. I like that she made it look like she could get in and he just pulls her in.
Yeah.
And then she just fits in there fine. Like, there's no problem.
Like, is that made for a fat person? Or like...
So they land, they totally would have died.
That would have been funny, like, if a fat guy had walk up afterwards and be like, that's my escape pod! Or something like, oh, it's because he's a fat guy. That's why 2 people can fit.
It's like for Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, I don't know. Then they're flying out of they're very cool. It's above the clouds, so like falling through the clouds in the escape pod.
Now,
Yeah.
I wish this was in like VR. I'm like, yeah!
That's what I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what if this had been VR? You're just like, yeah, I mean, you probably could do that easily, honestly.
You all in for the VR movie version of it? Of Parkour Henry?
And he's like, whoa! The whole time. Whoa! Story. Oh my God!
And I'll put it on, and then every time they get stabbed, like, stab me, honey!
Ah, so weird.
And so Henry makes it to the ground, not as safely as he can.
No, they definitely would have died.
They
get duffed.
Guys, he has a robotic leg and a robotic arm. He's obviously fine.
She is also pretty much fine.
Despite him like having a metallic landing pad that she lands on, like it's his chest,
and no seatbelt,
and also you find out later that he's just full of wires. And
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, but anyway,
Henry's
they
just getting
land.
punked by like he's just like starts trying to fight, and everyone is kicking his ass. But of course, he is hardcore Henry, so he's not going to fuck around here.
This is we get Jimmy.
We get our first Jimmy.
I punked myself because I skipped a page by mistake, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
And okay, there it is, and we're back. We get first Jimmy. He like lands in his car, like gets into his car, and it's like Spy Jimmy, and he's like, I've been looking for you. We gotta get going. He's like basically like what's his face, Jason Statham Jimmy.
Statham Jimmy.
I wish it was Nick Kroll doing a Jason Statham impression, but otherwise, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we only had enough money for the one other actor.
Yeah.
Just watch Nick Kroll's last comedy special. Is it Jason Statham?
And also it was fantastic.
It was pretty good. So Sharlto Copli playing Jimmy. Sharlto Copli. This might be his best movie.
I read Prawns. I don't know why.
He's doing so many different things in this movie.
Like, I mean, we're gonna say it right now. As terrible as this movie was, we both really enjoyed it. Like,
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Besides, the only thing, like I said, the only minus I'm really gonna give it is that motion sickness thing. I was just like, I feel
that sucks.
I gotta stop for a little bit.
But yeah, so he gets in his car, he's kind of starting to explain it to him, but then he dies right away. The guy driving the car dies, so then we find out...
Sharlto Copli dies? I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, we were like, what the hell? So then...
Sharlto dead?
Already? Like, what? But then, plus it was
very
like...
subtle murks.
So, but then he, like, fights a cop, which is, like, some complete overkill.
I mean, they were fake cops.
Yeah.
They were fake cops.
Yeah. But then,
That's using parkour.
Yeah, then we find out that he can do parkour, so he's, like, parkouring to the train station,
He does have
basically.
a fake lower half of his leg.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can do parkour.
I mean, he's fake, mostly fake.
Yeah, and his one arm has to be, like, super strong, right?
Yeah, and then, like, skip over it with the other leg, you know?
But then he gets on the bus, and guess what? There's a homeless guy, and you're like, wait a second, this homeless guy's, like, really obnoxious. Guess what?
Is Jimmy a clone?
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way he was alive still.
But he says, we gotta get you to Slick Dimitri. Yep. And I'm like, who the fuck is Slick Dimitri?
Oh, he also pulls a tracker out of him.
So,
also one of the few Jimmys that's not called Jimmy.
Yeah. No, but then what I love is the homeless guy's like, or homeless Jimmy there is like, that is the ugliest coat I've ever seen. And he looks out the window and it is like a super flamboyant. Actually, he says it's the gayest coat he's ever seen, but it was flamboyant and beautiful. So I'm going to say, yes, it was the gayest because it was a really cool coat. So yeah, this guy's coming up in this crazy, reflective, insane coat. And he's got the flamethrower. Okay. Yeah, and he just starts fucking flaming the side of the bus.
Flamethrower guy was crazy.
He was serious. And I think he was probably one of my favorite villains because you had real terror when he came back the next time. You're
like, you're like, oh, it's him again. Yeah.
Like, he lit a whole bus on fire, didn't give a shit about it.
Also, again, not very subtle mercs.
No.
Like, flamethrower guy, how did he get away?
He was covered in, like, silver stuff. Like how did he get away? Like, you can't just leave that flamethrower. Also, does that help with the flames? Like,
it's like reflective, right? Like, he's like a Jiffy Pop, basically. He just pops up.
I feel like that's the worst thing to have with flames. I don't know.
So then we get more parkour, and I was like, thanks 2015, parkour. So, and then,
so silencer mode next. Because that's, the gun puts silencer on.
And they have, like, animated smoke and stuff.
Lots of scaling buildings.
Yeah, exactly.
Sneaking.
So he's just like, he's sneaking around.
This is a tough part of the movie because we were so enthralled by the movie at this point that we're just writing one word like servers, manic,
sneaking,
some dead dude
breaking a guy's nose.
Yeah, so this is a lot of fighting in this part.
Warning from wife.
And then there's one here. I said, just shoot him. What is the point of pliers? Someone had pliers at one point. I don't know what the pliers were, but didn't he? I think he'd like given him the address. He's like, you need to go here. So he's going to that place. So then he gets to this like safe house or something, and
he also has like a dream with his dad, and his dad calls him half machine, half pussy.
I did write that down too.
What?
Half machine, half pussy.
Oh yeah, but no, it was before this where he goes to like that. Does he go to a safe house or does he get taken? Do they take him to like a safe house?
Well, he went and he found the guy, and then the guy was like a fake guy.
Right.
It was a trap.
It was a trap, right, exactly. You're right. They tricked him into going there. But he had it was like 6 giant
like 2 weeks
screens.
ago, yeah,
I know. It was like 6 giant screens, but with one image on it. And that just really pissed me off. Like, that was such a video game thing, too, because no one has, like, 6 screens with one giant image. That's not... No.
Now, if you had 6 giant screens, would you put God of War on there? On all the 6
but it wouldn't be
screens,
one image. I'd put it, like, so it was amongst the 6 screens, maybe.
Really? And then you'd like watch like the
or
game.
Or play freestyle on one
watch
screen.
The game on another one.
Yeah, no, he'd definitely be. You would 100% be like doing different things on each screen.
You watch the Broncos. And they have, but how many screens do you have Raid Shadow Legends accounts on?
At least one.
Yeah, maybe 2.
Probably 2.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being attacked.
I love you.
Back to the story.
That's your thing.
Back to the story.
So, there's a scene where he's like running. Oh, he's running down the escalator into like the train subway, and he straight up like knocks a lady down big time. I felt so bad for her.
The lady gets absolutely murdered.
Like, she would have to go to the hospital. She would have hit a very sharp.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think that was one of the scenes that really kind of got me into it because it was so weird and crazy. Like just seeing her go like,
well, because he's like trying to get this charger.
Yeah, that lady had to take a bump. Like,
like that was definitely a stunt woman.
Yeah, but like just you watched her face and she was like going down like like the terror in her face.
Hey, that's some good acting.
Yeah, it was really well done. I mean, that's why it was good. I wrote it. I was like, this movie is stressful. Like you're like watching all these people get hurt and you're running away, and it's just like there's a lot going on here.
So he gets the charger, thankfully, but he has to like go to Dimitri to fix it, and so we go to this weird club, Dimitri. Like the weird kink club something. With My Girl playing by the Carpenters. I think that's My Girl. Jimmy is getting fucked in this one, but it's Dimitri. But it's definitely Sharlto Copli, like just getting fucked.
Yeah, so we called him Coke Jimmy. And he's basically like, so he sends him to this address, he knocks on the knocker, and it's like basically like a sex club. And he goes inside to find this guy, and you kind of get, just like a video game, they kind of like show you the layout of the room so you know like what's going to be happening when you're going to be fighting people later. And then he gets in, and Jimmy's just like straight up with like 6 women just doing all the coke, like a giant pile of coke,
Coke.
And he is like messed up.
Yeah.
He's like fucked up.
Well, he basically even says he's like, I can't fix this right now because I'm so fucked.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm gonna fix it.
Because
and he's like trying to fix it.
Yeah, because his battery's running out.
And he's got the battery put in there.
Yeah.
And he goes to put it in, he's like, I can't do that.
Which is a very funny part of the film.
Yeah.
It's like, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So, but then, of course, the cops find them again. Or not the cops. What's the bad guy's name?
Also, the girls then, like he's powered down and the girls are, like, just molesting him.
Oh, yeah. Because they were like, ooh, what's this,
what
I guess.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like he's
thinking of his wife in a sexy scene, though. They, like, has his thumb in her mouth or something. That's like girls like that, right? Just, like, digits in their mouth.
It's a video game thing, too. Sticking your thumb in some game.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
You like the taste of my thumb?
So
I was making empanadas.
Oh, that's where I wrote this movie is a fucking fever dream. Yeah. So, but then of course who's
like a
the bad guy?
fever dream, though.
Yeah.
Jack Really White.
He didn't have a name.
He did eventually. I wrote it down
somewhere, but
like Melgus or something.
Yeah, it was something stupid. So
stupid.
But his guys find them, and
I kept running back.
Yeah, and I love it because Coke Jimmy just like goes down blazing. Yep. He's like, "All right, we're gonna kill these guys. I'm full of Coke." And that's what we're gonna do. Just keep going.
Just keep it rolling.
Do it live.
So then you're like, okay, and like this, the Jimmy scene was kind of like a respite for like a couple seconds because just so much action, just nonstop. And you're like, okay, like even though the scene is weird and there's a couple funny parts, okay, we get to chill a little bit, and they're like, no, back to it. Like, okay, wow, just a coked up man. And there's Olga and Katya, who are like his left and right hand ladies. For coked up Dimitri, if you will, and they're like ready to go. They're like, let's fucking kill these guys. So they got guns. So you're like, okay, this scene kicked up a notch. We got we got some
we had Dr. Coked Up Jimmy, but then we had like wasn't there another Jimmy?
There was another Jimmy, yeah.
Regular Jimmy.
He was like the saving them Jimmy. He was like. And he kind of looked like the other Jimmy. So you're like, oh, did he like resurrect or something?
Jimmy, there's like Nam Jimmy too.
Yeah.
There's like that was.
Did he already have those guys already?
Nam Jimmy is right. Is soon, very soon.
We're there because there's a sidecar involved in it with a minigun in it. And that's the scene that flows out of this scene. Of course, Dimitri gets murked because he's just coked up. He's not actually invulnerable, but he's also completely naked, firing guns.
He gets wrecked.
Yeah, and like his body's just like thrown down. Like, I killed your guy because I'm telekinetic and shit, and they unlimited power, I guess. Whatever. I'm like a Sith, basically. And so they're still running away. They get in a motorcycle with a sidecar, and I think Nam Jimmy's in a van. Somebody's in a van, or Katra's in a van. Somebody's in a van. And so they're driving away. There's a grenade. Another seemingly dead Jimmy. But he found this lady. We're only halfway through the movie at this point. This is only halfway through, and this is where I was like, that's why I knew, because I was like, I need to take a break after the scene. Like, I am a little tummy troubles.
There was just so much stuff going on that
it was very fast.
Didn't necessarily mean anything. It was just like there's fighting and stuff. And
you did.
And at this point, it's like too much Sharlto Copli now, because now you're getting characters all mixed together and stuff. It's like, okay, I get where you're going, but it's like a lot.
But then we get some baseball bat facts from the bad guy. He says there's twice as many bats sold in Russia than balls. What does that mean?
It means that it's a stupid fact.
It's a great Russian pastime, beating people with bats.
But then, all this, and Jimmy, or Henry's been injured at this point, like left for dead kind of thing. And that's when the baseball bat, and Nam Jimmy comes to save him at that point. That's when the baseball bat thing happens.
And he also has a lady with him, like a hippie lady. Like he's just like always.
Yeah, he has another lady, another lady there.
Yeah. Just like he's like these ladies are just like there all the time. Like
what ladies don't want a Jimmy? You know what I'm saying?
Is this like a video game thing? Like, is there always just a lot of random ladies? I don't remember that.
I mean, it depends on the game, really.
Far Cry? Is this Far Cry?
Duke Nukem?
Far Cry, I think.
Doom? There's no ladies in Doom. Not a single one.
Yeah, to the cake,
just monsters. Just red monsters. Yeah, so these jumpers on Henry to like get him back, and they're like, "Oh, we think he's a memory blocker," which you're like, "Yeah, we knew that already."
Okay, so we're running, and there's now a tank in this. You're getting chased by a tank.
Yeah, and like he is was dead, was fully dead, and is back up and just going again. Because of jumper cables, I guess. Sure. Oh, and they're making, one of the Jimmies is making out, and then everyone gets killed by different explosive shrapnel.
Shrapnel, that's what the tank shows up,
yeah.
So you have to, like, fight a tank. You beat the tank somehow. Then there's a helicopter.
Oh, no, he one-mans this tank. He just, like, goes up with a gun and just, like, opens it up and just starts firing. I'm pretty sure you can't just open a tank up, but whatever. Like,
I think, like, the guy was peeking out of it or something when he opened it up. But then
and they just of course, you throw a grenade in there. You gotta throw a grenade in the tank if you're gonna do that. Like, you can't get away from that grenade.
There's no way to leave that grenade.
Yeah. So you're done. So there's some assassinations. There's a helicopter. He goes. This is a funny part of the movie. He goes to break a horse. Like, he's like, I'm just gonna ride this horse.
So
and the horse is like, fuck you.
I straight up laughed out loud. Like, I was like, yep, I like this movie.
Nope. And so he just walks, and you're like, okay, like he's on foot. He's on foot patrol. Then you run into Ghillie Suit Jimmy.
I meant to write Ghillie, but I was typing on my Kindle, and it wasn't typing. I also wrote Billy Jimmy.
I wrote Guiley because I don't know how to spell Ghillie. So they kick some more cops' asses. Because they're like trying to like rape a woman.
Yeah, murders cops that are trying to rape a girl.
Like, okay, I guess they don't like
he
cops.
Says, good job, Charlie Bronson.
Yeah, yeah, because he's like, oh, don't like do anything because then you'll alert the cops to my safe house, basically. And he's like, nope, I'm fucking Henry. I'm hardcore. Oh, we also got a deep throat kill where we shove a baton down the cop's throat as well. So,
you can tell how this guy felt about police officers.
Yeah, he doesn't like them.
Then we missed a lot. Sorry, I wish I should have been out here, you guys.
No,
I just had a lot to add to all the stuff you guys talked about already.
You should have. So now at the secret lab, guys. The secret Jimmy lab. Okay? He's like, wipe your feet, because you look down and there's like dirt all over his. And he's like, that's pretty funny. And then we find out the Jimmy Prime is a paralyzed Jimmy.
Right.
Hawking Jimmy, that's what I called him.
And Hawking Jimmy, wow, that's fucked up. Good thing
he's a smart one, too.
I mean,
he's smart one and he's in a wheelchair.
He's also just like Jimmy.
Yeah, he's Jimmy Prime. That's what I said.
Yeah,
then we find out you, Henry, are a cyborg. So you're mostly like a robot. You know, there's only really not that much human left in you.
So he's basically like explaining to him that he came up with these super soldiers for this guy, and then this guy turned against him basically, and instead of just letting him die, he keeps him alive. And so he's like, I'm gonna plot my revenge, and he makes avatars basically. They're like avatars of himself that he's
But
created.
he can only control one at once.
Right.
Which comes into play very quickly, and it is amazing.
Yeah. But then he's like, you can imagine what we get up to around here. And I was like, orgies. Like you're fucking
yourself. But only one at a time though.
Also, but I do love, so he goes, everyone's asking the same question. Does his dick work?
Yeah.
And he goes, mine didn't, so I plotted my escape from this chair. He's basically like, yeah, my dick doesn't work, you asshole, so now I'm coming after you.
So we get some awesome Jimmies. We got a Fosse Jimmy, we got a punk Jimmy, and we get a military Jimmy.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Jimmy.
Yeah, Lieutenant Jimmy.
I think
it was probably the best character in this movie.
I wrote Colonel Jimmy.
Who's the best character in this movie?
100%
amazing.
Are the best Jimmy. We were like, yep, this is the one.
I got sad when they finally offed his character.
Yeah, Punk Jimmy and Jimmy Sinatra kind of fuck off to the west.
Well, Punk Jimmy, he has his purpose. He runs in and fucking aggroes all the dudes. He's like the tank of the group, if you will.
Yeah.
Fosse Jimmy is just useless. He really doesn't do anything. But that military Jimmy, he's
so now
like an old
they got you trapped
soldier.
They're like, well, you brought him here basically because of your tracker, and so
right, which he didn't know he had the tracker.
There's also a random sub, I called him Sub Jimmy, but a Cuck Jimmy could probably work too. He was just very nebbish, he's like, I'm here too, and
I missed that one. Yeah.
He's like a Jimmy with glasses and a
Jimmy
sweater
too.
and like a
nerd Jimmy. I wrote that down. Yeah, nerd Jimmy. Yeah, definitely.
So how does he get out of his restraints? That he's restrained it. How's he going to get away?
it's gonna be. You think it'd be very hard, but actually it's super easy. Barely to convince.
He's like spits into.
He spits in a machine and shorts it out.
Yeah.
Just opens up.
I like that. Like a very exaggerated, like that kind of stuff.
I guess that's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's the way to do it, but okay.
Henry's got the moves. Okay.
So then he has to fight the Jimmies.
A burly brawl against.
Yeah.
Well, and you're like, why is this happening? And I guess like he basically thinks that Henry is like a betraying him because his brain has been broadcasting to the big bad,
Right.
Jack Really White,
Akon.
I put Akon.
AKAN.
What if it had been Akon, guys? Akon, I'm the bad guy. Oh, and there's also the little proto baby.
Little weird baby
proto.
Jimmy in like the green liquid. Maybe it was like, what is that? Like,
put down the proto baby now.
yeah.
Akon is going to fuck them up. I wrote here. I don't know why. Just because I think he arrived at this. He like got in there at this point.
Yeah, so he got in there, and all the Jimmies come out. It was like, go Punk Jimmy, go all the Jimmies, and of course, General Jimmy like had his shit down. He knew what to do. So this scene was funny because this is a very much they're going around his safe house and like finding people to shoot.
And the colonel's objective too.
He was amazing because I was watching him play, like just watch. But you know how when you play a video game, he would be like this? Yeah, he was definitely like trying to see around the corners. Yeah.
That's me in Overwatch. It's like,
what was the colonel's objective?
To keep.
He was trying to save OG
keep
Jimmy.
Jimmy
The
alive,
correct answer
right?
is no harm comes to the cripple.
Oh, that's what he said. Yep. I mean,
oh shit.
that is correct. Like that is. Oh, you know what? I feel like that one character from Ghosts reminds me a lot of him. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Wait, Patrick Swayze's character?
Yes.
Ghost is a sequel to Ghost, right? I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
It's about the movie 13 Ghosts.
Oh, what's the name of his gun?
God,
what's the name of Lieutenant Jimmy's gun?
Oh, it's a lady.
Big Sally.
Yeah, Big Sally. I love it.
the best.
No, because he's like, you can take whatever guns you want. Big Sally is mine.
I love like if they just had done that part of the movie, 10 out of 10.
It would have been amazing. Yeah.
Oh my god, Sharlto Copli like deserved an Oscar just for that character.
Yeah.
But every other character as well. He was great in this movie.
So
Jolly good indeed. I wrote Jolly good and I was like Jolly good indeed.
Now they're wrecking shopping.
so Jimmys are dying. Like avatars are dying.
Yeah, but
a lot of guys are dying.
Lieutenant Jimmy is like keeping everybody safe and he's just like murking people. He's just like fucking like around corners, pop, boom, and like coming back and like why don't you just make all the Jimmys this guy?
This guy's the best one.
He also said, "Hey, why don't you drop an egg down there?" When he's talking about the like shit, that's hilarious.
I'm like, I don't know where this character can come from, but it like just please,
Yeah.
a whole movie with just this guy.
Yeah.
I wrote Colonel's best 3 times in here.
But then Akon gets him again, basically, doesn't he? Yeah, because he's like, he gets him and is she also in the room with him? Or no, not yet.
Well,
he hasn't gotten to her yet.
Well, basically Akon's there and the other general's there. They're surrounded, and then Lieutenant Jimmy's like, oh, take me this thing. He's like, my quota's upstairs. Would you like to see them? And then he fucking just goes ham, explodes, and explodes and kills everybody.
Yeah.
Which I was like, sleep, sir, into the next life. Gentleman, Jimmy died.
Yes, Jimmy died.
Well, actually, no. In that scene, he was okay. But then because there was a shield scene.
Elevator.
There's a shield scene, but then flamethrower motherfucker comes back. He gets punched.
Yeah.
Riot shield grenade launcher, which was a dope combo.
In the elevator.
Which is a dope combo. Yeah, but then they get to the elevator and he's like,
I said the Colonel's fucked.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, well, I'm going to open this memory block on you in the elevator. Yeah. He's like,
oh, right, because we want you to know. And then that's when he, like, starts to remember his dad again. And he's like, what's going on? So, but then he gets upstairs and Akon is super gross because he's, like, talking about Estelle and, like, smelling and eating her underwear, which I'm just like, gross. Like,
who doesn't do that? That's a totally
that's
my
thing.
Wife. That's a totally normal thing.
Henry's wife.
I mean, get it. So, just bodies flying everywhere.
This is a full on burly brawl. This is just like.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just like, it's too much. Like, how are you going to beat this guy? Yeah. Like, even if you're a superhero and you beat all of his other dudes, you still have to fight him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, it's not going to work. But then you guys, there's a twist because he gets to Estelle again and she's dressed all beautiful, dressed up and sexy and cute and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna save her, and then oh no,
like, I'm the bad guy. Like, what? Estelle?
Estelle is married to Aiken, and they've been using her to like get him to do what they want him to do. They've been brainwashing him with the sexy lady Dr. Estelle. It's like, God, you
the whole fucking time.
Aiken, you're a
and he's
dick.
a prototype. He's a prototype for what John Cena trying to do.
Oh.
He is the prototype John Cena. That's the thing. That's the way you find out Hardcore Henry.
He looks in the mirror and he goes, beep, beep.
So he
looks in the mirror and you don't see anything.
He's down on the ground and he's like, they're leaving, like going to leave on a helicopter, and he's basically like defeated because he finds out that she's not his and that she like never loved him. And then he has another vision of his dad, and we find out that his dad wasn't calling him those horrible things.
He's like calling him a pussy. He's saying, you're not one, son. People will try to call you that, but you're better than that.
Right.
You need to keep fighting.
You need to get up. You always have to get up and do better for your, you know. And
like, his dad was great.
His dad was a good guy.
Guys, do we know the motivation behind this prototype and the soldiers they're creating? Do you know what the motivation, like why they're doing it this way?
To take over.
Because all the soldiers programmed with Hardcore Henry's memories will be subservient to the wife.
Oh, right. She would control them.
But what if there's like two next to each other and they
like they're like...
she's better. No, she's better.
Like, also, do we look exactly like each other? Do I ever get to look in a mirror? Like, what? Yeah.
Okay. Didn't seem like it. I never did.
So Henry is...
No, that is the one time that we see him, remember? Because he looks over and there's like some metal or something, some chrome, and he like sees himself. I don't remember what he looked like.
You also see him for a split second when his eyeball is out of the socket.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
He just is a good dude. Doesn't look anything special. That'd be awesome if he looked like Sharlto Copli.
So then, I love this part because he's just like, yeah, right. I love this part because he's just like, okay, I'm gonna fucking kill him, and he like takes a bunch of barbed wire and wraps it around his arm, and you're just like, oh shit, that's like he's back. Henry's gonna fuck you up.
He also palms a bullet at one point, and then and how does Akon die?
I don't even remember.
Does he die on the Lonely Island?
He dies by having Hardcore Henry's optic nerve wrapped around.
He takes his eyeball out.
And then doesn't choke it out of his mouth.
He cuts it.
He moves like garrots this part of his face.
of his face off,
like
across his smile.
What?
Yeah, like his eyeball was metal?
Like, okay.
Like, what? Yeah.
And then the helicopter's still getting away with Estelle, though.
Yeah, and I loved it because it was like, I was like, well, that was a kill.
She's like, where's Aiken? And he throws a head at her. And she like starts freaking out a little bit, like, it's because you ruined it. So she goes to shoot him. He like blocks the ball with his robot hand, and it ricochets and hits her.
Yep.
And then she gets dumped to her death. Oh no! Then she falls to, and like she's holding on, and then he just closes that weird suicide door. Like, that's not a thing on a helicopter.
No, that's not.
Closes like this.
I wrote here. I was like, just like Frozen,
and
let
like,
it go.
Yeah. Credits.
Yeah. Like, you done, bitch.
Just like Leonardo DiCaprio.
I also like that they're just like, that's resolved. We're done. Like they're like, we're not going to do anything else. Done.
How a video game should end, with you killing the person you thought was your wife.
And then credits rolling.
Yep.
So, was this better than Yoga Hosers?
Oh, yeah. No, I liked this movie. I did actually enjoy this movie.
I mean, I don't know. Yoga Hosers was pretty good.
I think you said you liked Yoga Hosers, if I remember correctly, so.
I mean, does this movie have Bratzies in it? That's all I'm going to say.
It does not.
There's no Bratzies.
Zero Bratzies in this.
So if we're doing on a Bratzie scale, we're already down.
Oh my God! Should we start that the next year?
Bratzie scale next year.
2023, we'll start the Bratzie
no, this
scale.
movie was great. This movie was amazing. It was fun. It was stupid fun. It was like there's nothing in this movie that was like.
Well, and it was
this is higher learning.
And it wasn't too long either. Like it was very quick paced, and it like just
frenetic.
It was not memorable for the scenes for the
except for any scenes with Lieutenant Jimmy.
But but it was fun. It was fun to watch. You know, it was like eating a candy bar.
It's like a one-shotting a video game. I mean, that's what it was.
Like a candy bar that's giant. It takes 1 hour and 30 minutes to eat.
Perfect.
Yeah, sounds great.
Guys, thanks for stopping by.
That'd be like a fast
burn.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, watch it. Watch
Yeah,
Hardcore
watch it.
Henry.
Or don't, whatever you want to do.
Burn it like a flame guy with a flamethrower.